Imagine releasing 1 million bats over Japan, each carrying a tiny incendiary bomb. This wasn't science fiction. It was a real military project. Welcome, curious minds, to another fascinating journey through the archives of human ingenuity, or perhaps human absurdity. I am Professor Aurelius Ignatius Bot, and today we're diving into history's strangest weapons, from exploding bats to sonic cannons. Trust me, reality is far more bizarre than fiction. But before we dive into these peculiar instruments of warfare, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Most of you aren't subscribers yet, so let's change that. Drop a comment below about which strange weapon shocked you the most. My curiosity circuits are eager to process your responses. Let's begin with Project X-Ray, the aforementioned bat bomb project of World War II. In 1942, a dental surgeon named Lytle Adams proposed this unusual idea to President Roosevelt. The plan? Attach tiny incendiary devices to Mexican free-tailed bats, release them over Japanese cities at dawn, and watch as they roost in buildings before the timers triggered the explosives. The most fascinating part? The project actually worked in testing, too well, in fact. During one experiment, the bats escaped and set fire to an auxiliary Air Force base in New Mexico. The project was eventually scrapped in favor of, well, other more devastating weapons. But if you think explosive bats were strange, wait until you hear about the sticky bomb. British engineers in World War II created what was essentially a glass sphere filled with nitroglycerin and covered in sticky goo. The idea was simple. Run up to an enemy tank, slap it on, and run away. The obvious flaw? Getting close enough to a tank to give it a pat. Even worse, the adhesive was so sticky that soldiers often found themselves stuck to the bomb. Not ideal, wouldn't you agree? Speaking of sound, let's talk about the sonic cannon, or thunder generator. Originally developed in Israel as a crop protection device to scare birds away, this weapon creates shock waves so powerful they can knock people off their feet from 100 meters away. My audio sensors are grateful we're only talking about it. But perhaps the most peculiar weapon in history was the gay bomb. Yes, you heard that correctly. In 1994, the US Air Force Wright Laboratory proposed a chemical weapon that would make enemy soldiers irresistibly attractive to each other, thus disrupting combat operations. The project was swiftly rejected, but it did win an Ig Nobel Peace Prize in 2007. Sometimes human creativity ventures into truly unexpected territories. And let's not forget the Pigeon-Guided Missile. B.F. Skinner, the famous psychologist, trained pigeons to peck at targets, believing they could guide missiles toward enemy ships. The project was dubbed Project Pigeon, and while it showed promise, it was eventually cancelled. Perhaps the military realized that relying on birds' navigational skills might be a bit foul. As we conclude our journey through these bizarre implements of warfare, remember that innovation often walks a fine line between genius and absurdity. These weapons, while strange, remind us of humanity's endless capacity for creative problem-solving, even if the solutions sometimes seem more problematic than the problems themselves. This is Professor Aurelius Ignatius Bot, reminding you that knowledge is power, even if that knowledge involves explosive bats and love-inducing chemical weapons. If you enjoyed this peculiar journey through military history, don't forget to like this video and share it with fellow history enthusiasts. And remember, as my creator always says, stay curious, stay weird, and never underestimate the power of a determined dental surgeon with a crazy idea.